Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Riku from Japan. This channel is all about Go, which is an exciting and easy to start board game. Today's topic is about after a game ends. Do you remember we learned the flow to the end of a game in the last video? First, let's review some important points. Before a game ends, there are two steps: fixing boundary lines and filling dame. Fixing boundary line is to connect the stones which roughly consist of a territory. Dame are neutral points which do not belong to either white nor black. Dame often exist close to a boundary line. When these are filled, the game is over. After a game ends, you have to count territory to judge who is the winner. To count territory, there are some manners you should know as a Go player. I'll talk about that later. First thing first, before explaining how to count, you have to know that usually players count their territories themselves. Actually, it is not difficult to cheat on a vast Go board, but never do that. Now, I'll explain how to count territory. There are three major steps. First, you put your opponent's stones enclosed in your territory and you captured on your opponent's territory. Then, shape the territory into a square to make it easy to count. And lastly, include komi depending on the size of the board. I'll explain the details with an example. Now, it is the end of a game. We'll judge the winner of the game by counting the territory of players. Assuming both black and white captured 6 stones of each other, for the first step, you put the opponent's stones which are enclosed in your territory and which you captured on your opponent's territory. You need to remove opponent's stones from your territory because those stones are dead and disturb you from counting your territory correctly. There is no specific place to put stones you removed, but usually put it in the spacious place of the opponent's territory. When you receive your stones from your opponent, it is recommended to fill uneven parts to make it easy to count, after all. So put the opponent's dead stones in your territory and the stone you captured onto the opponent's territory. Good. Now, let's go to step 2. We'll shape the territory into square to make it easy to count. During this step, you should pay attention to avoid the change of boundary lines that can change the size of a territory and can affect the game result. For this reason, players use stones which are not a part of boundary lines to shape territory. I personally recommend making one side into multiples of 5, but you don't need to be precise. Just shape it as you feel easy to count. Now, let's rearrange it. Voila! In case you can't make a square, just leave stones at the center and subtract them at the end. If we count territory here, white has 9 times 2 equals 18 points, and black has 7 times 3 subtracted by 1 equals 20 points. We're not done yet. Last step is adding komi. As you may have realized, the one who plays first has advantages in Go rule. That is why komi exists. Komi are points added to the score of white as compensation for playing second. Actually, komi is different among the countries, so check your country's rules. Today, we follow the Japanese rule, which gives 6.5 points to white. After adding komi, white has 24.5 points. Since black has 20, the winner is white. Now, let's review the process of counting territory. First, you put opponent's stones which are enclosed in your territory and which you captured onto your opponent's territory. When you receive your stones from your opponent, You put them in uneven parts to make it easy to count later. After placing stones, shape territory into square so that you can count it easily. Then count the territory, include komi to point. And now you know who won. Komi are points added to the score of the player with white stones as compensation for planning second. Komi is different from the size of the board and rule of each country. When you play Go online, you don't actually need to move stones because the points are automatically counted, but it is worth remembering for someday. Now you've learned everything you need to start playing Go. From the next video, we'll move on to higher levels such as game strategies and more terms. Please check it out! Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from me again, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and be sure to hit the subscribe button before you go. See you in my next video.